Israel's climate guy is here in Bahrain. But I'm here with Arya Green, Chief Strategy Officer, and I want to say that we feel incredibly welcomed by government and the private sector. We're not only feeling welcome, we're feeling optimistic and frankly inspired by what I think can come out together. Noga Holdings, I have a proposal for you at the end as a present. And thank you for being here. Allow me to tell you about a very special country. It's a small country, you can call it an energy island, with a relatively small population. It's a tolerant country with Muslims, Jews, Christians, Baha'is. This country is allied with the United States and its military. This country has major gas fields on which it is over-dependent. This country's energy infrastructure would collapse with a direct hit by one or two missiles, heaven forbid, from Iran. Yet this little special energy island could diversify its energy mix to increase its energy security and independence. This country is blessed with 2,100 kilowatt hours per square meter of underutilized solar power. Germany is the world leader on solar with 1,000. This special country is 2,100. But in this country, there's barely any residential solar installations, and there's an inadequate amount of utility-scale solar fields. There's actually no solar-powered EV charging stations in this country, even though it would be very cost-effective. Yet because of what's happening in the world, because of climate change, you look at the floods in Pakistan, right, in Nigeria, you look at the wildfires in Indonesia and California, you look at just the devastation around the world, the droughts in the Sahel, the supercharged monsoons in the Philippines and India and elsewhere. This little country has finally relented and has made a net zero carbon commitment. Mabruk. Yet that net zero commitment is hollow. It's hollow because there's no market signal to support that net zero commitment. It's really for more than a generation from now, which is way, way too late. But I can tell you though, on what day this little special energy island will actually have the most revolutionary Green New Deal, most comprehensive Green New Deal. It will be the day after a direct hit to its gas assets by Iran or its proxies. And unfortunately, on that day, it'll be too late. So you tell me, which country are you speaking about? Israel? Anybody else? Bahrain? Anybody else? I am speaking about Israel, Bahrain, and frankly, basically almost any G2C member state. But there is another way. It doesn't have to be that way. There's a healthier, more economically viable, regenerative, inspired way to go. My short story, you saw a little bit of it, is that we had a dream in the south of Israel. We wanted to be the first region in the world, from the Red Sea to the Dead Sea, to go 100% daytime solar by 2020. And everyone said it's impossible. It's not technologically feasible. It's not economically advantageous. There's no precedent. Why don't we go slow? Sound familiar? Dorit Bennett from the municipality and I, we thought otherwise. We knew we had the technology, coming from Startup Nation, right? We had the expertise, we had the people, we had the land assets, we had the sun, We also down there have 2,100 kilowatt hours per square meter. Amazing, amazing. But the finance ministry, and you're probably at this exact junction right now in your evolution, the finance ministry said, no, no, no. The cost of solar is over here, and the cost of gas is over here. So, no thank you. Well, we went with a good friend of Startup Nation Central. He was in the Prime Minister's office doing the Economic Council, Eugene Kendall. We went to Eugene Kendall and we posed the challenge. If solar is here and gas is here, how are we going to do this? We know the planet needs it. We know we can then create a startup, 850 companies, which will be good on many levels. He goes, no, no, no. We need to look at apples to apples. No one in the world is doing the macroeconomic considerations. He goes, we're going to take it on ourselves. So again, solar here, gas here. He goes, look, there's a health effect, and you have a very high particle rate here. The amount of asthma and cancer around our power stations was relatively high. There's a cost to the economy and to the people. We came up with a formula, we added it to the gas. Same thing on environment, and then on energy security. Oh, it's the same price on a macroeconomic basis. That was the conclusion 7 years ago. Today in Israel, solar plus storage is cheaper by about half than gas. It is a revolution. That means every new major solar field is actually subsidizing the gas fields. It is the opposite of what everybody assumes, and this is the truth, and this is your opportunity. By the way, we hit the 2020 goals, first region in the world. Daytime, we're 150% solar powered. In 2 years, we'll be night and day, 25 years ahead of the UN goals. So what Israelis like to hear is something's impossible. We have a lot of startups here, a lot of entrepreneurs. But if it's necessary, we need to figure it out. Now, Israel's goal, I am ashamed to say, so I have suggestions for you. I come as well as a critic back home, is only 30%. Ours is by 2030. And it should be 50%. And actually, Bahrain can get to 50% if we work together by 2030. Now, politics aside, our new coalition agreement in Israel for a new government actually calls for a climate law with a 50% renewable goal by 2030. So I'm going to tell you how Israel is going to get there, and I can make some suggestions to my new friends. In Israel, we're going to do the shared rooftops and all the car parks with the ability to sell back to the grid, and that will actually, according to our Ministry of Environment, give us 40% of our needs, day and night with storage. Number two, we're a little country, and food security is really going to be an issue, and so agrivoltaics, right, solar above the agriculture, actually helping the agriculture because of the climate change and the additional heat. If you do it right, it'll actually increase the yields. So our future solar fields are going to be dual use agriculture and energy. 3, climate justice. By 2030, a quarter of our citizens are Bedouin and Arab. And so we're hoping that a quarter of our solar fields will also come from the Arab citizens. And 4, which you probably want to ask questions later about, is the energy storage. So Bahrain, what's in it for you? Look, the diversification of your economy is already one of your goals. We don't have to come from the outside. We hear it clearly for obvious reasons. Look, also, you're going to run out of oil soon and gas soon-ish. And if you're using so much of your own gas for yourselves, right? So if you switch faster to renewables, you actually have a longer lifeline also in your foreign currency when you sell it, and there are other benefits. So here's our, if I may, as a friend, 3-part program suggestions for Bahrain. The first is the policy changes that I think you're reviewing. Back to your residential, sell back, let people, let 1,000 flowers bloom, do it now. The second is green industry, like your aluminum smelting. Imagine that, if a third of your gas is being used for the smelting, and you basically give them a deadline, you incentive, an economic incentive, I see our friends here, to switch over to green energy for half the time, part of the time, then that would have a huge effect on your carbon footprint. And the last, which we heard from the Supreme Council, is solar power desalination. Get all your water to work on that. Now, so that's policy changes. The second is that we're in a global system, which means you can do offsets. There's different ways of, you don't have to do everything here at home. We know you're a gas producer. We know that. And you're right, it is going to be around for a while. But the way we do some of our offsets is that we go to the poorest places on the planet. And we zero out their diesel. So we'll show you a quick video about what we're doing. And you're invited to do either with us or there's plenty of countries in the world that would welcome your partnership. So we're going to go to the second video.
Power Africa, a strong and prosperous and self-reliant Africa.
Should be elevated as a fundamental human right for all of humanity and for all people.
I want to say thank you to the National Youth Village for being our partners.
And with Power Africa, we commit to 1,000 megawatts by 2020. And what we can see from up here today for Rwanda and Africa
and the Middle East is hope. That's the final word. So, policy changes. You can do offsets anywhere in the world, and it matters and it counts, particularly if you're going to the developing world. And the third thing, and this is not only a suggestion, it's an offer. We have plenty of witnesses. We'll bring 90% financing for this next idea. I don't know who the consultants are that you have, but by 2030, our analysis is that we can partner together on what we call the Bahraini lily pad to bring you to 100% renewable by 2030. So if we can go to the two slides, slide number 1. So you have a lot of shallow water. Your wind is borderline. So the question is, how do you make this economically viable? So in Zambia right now, we're developing a 71 megawatt hybrid solar and wind plant. And so let's go to the second slide. This is our vision that we think matches your energy profile, your lack of land resources. It is a hybrid solar wind farm. And we're ready to partner in piloting with you in your waters, and we're open to scale that with you by 2030 so that you can get to your 7,000 megawatts that you need. We'll be delighted to announce that together here in the region, COP28. Just in conclusion, I want to acknowledge that we're in the season of our collective souls. Right? Ramadan is approaching, Passover, also in Easter. They come together every 19 years or so. It's beautiful. And so my wish to all of us is that we come out of our season of our soul with a lot of energy of friendship, the energy of partnership, and the power of hope. And that we work together to accomplish what the world and what our children needs together. This is yours if you want it. Shukran.
Thank you, Yosef, for an